There are moments in life when the road ahead is clear, and there are moments when we cannot see what comes next. We pray, but the answer seems far away. We wait, but nothing appears to change. We believe, yet fear still whispers inside our hearts. In those moments, remember this: faith does not mean seeing the whole road. Faith means taking the next step, because you trust the one who already knows where the road leads. Think of Abraham standing beneath a sky filled with countless stars. God gave him a promise that seemed impossible. Abraham did not know exactly how it would happen or when it would happen. He simply chose to trust. Sometimes God asks us to move before we understand. He may close one door before showing us another. We may ask God, "Where are you taking me?" And sometimes the answer does not come immediately. Faith says, "I do not know where this road ends, but I know I am not walking alone." Abraham and Sarah waited many years. There were moments when everything they saw seemed to contradict what they believed. Yet their story reminds us that waiting does not mean God has forgotten us. Maybe you are waiting today, waiting for an opportunity. Waiting for peace, waiting for a new beginning. Waiting for a prayer to be answered. Do not measure God's faithfulness by your own calendar. What feels late to you may still be part of a purpose you cannot yet see. Then there was Jacob, sleeping alone beneath the stars with a stone beneath his head. His future was uncertain. Yet in that lonely wilderness, he discovered that God was there. God can meet you in uncomfortable places. He can meet you in loneliness. He can meet you during a sleepless night. He can meet you when everything familiar disappears. Sometimes the place you want to escape becomes the place where your faith grows strongest. Joseph knew this truth. He dreamed of a meaningful future, but his journey was filled with hardship. He was betrayed, taken away from home, falsely accused, and placed in prison. Imagine Joseph sitting inside that dark cell. If he judged his life only by what he could see, he might have believed God had forgotten him. But prison was not the end of Joseph's story. And your darkest chapter does not have to be the end of yours. Difficult seasons can teach us what comfort never could. They can give us patience, wisdom, humility, and strength. Sometimes God is preparing us in places we never would have chosen for ourselves. Joseph eventually left prison and became a powerful leader. Yet perhaps the greatest miracle was not his success. It was his ability to forgive. When the brothers who betrayed him stood before him, Joseph could have chosen revenge. Instead, he chose mercy. Forgiveness does not mean pretending that what happened was right. It does not mean allowing someone to keep hurting you. It means refusing to let yesterday control your heart forever. You place justice in God's hands and you choose freedom over bitterness. Then came Moses. Standing before the burning bush, Moses received a calling that seemed greater than his ability. Moses saw his weaknesses. God saw his purpose. How many times have you looked at yourself and thought, "I am not enough, not strong enough, not talented enough, not confident enough, not prepared enough?" But throughout the Bible, God works through imperfect people. Moses was afraid. Gideon felt weak. David was young. Peter made mistakes. God did not wait until they became perfect. And he is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to trust him with what you have. Later, Moses stood before the Red Sea. Danger was behind him, and an impossible obstacle was ahead. There seemed to be no way forward. Maybe you know that feeling. You have prayed, you have worked, you have waited. Yet every direction seems closed. The Red Sea reminds us that something can look impossible until God creates a path through it. Moses could not divide the sea through his own strength. His responsibility was to trust and obey. The miracle belonged to God. There are things in your life that cannot be solved by worrying harder. There are doors you cannot force open. There are situations you cannot completely control. Do what you can. Be faithful with what is in your hands. Then trust God with what is beyond your hands. In the wilderness, the Israelites learned to depend on God one day at a time. We We often want enough strength for the next 10 years. God gives us grace for today. We worry about tomorrow. What if something goes wrong? What if my plans fail? What if I lose what I have, but tomorrow has not arrived? Do not spend today's strength fighting tomorrow's imaginary battles. Take one day at a time, one prayer at a time, one faithful decision at a time. You do not need strength today for every challenge you will ever face. You need strength for the step in front of you. Joshua understood this when he stood before the walls of Jericho. The walls were enormous. Victory seemed impossible, yet Joshua kept walking. Faith sometimes looks foolish before the breakthrough comes. People may not understand why you continue praying. They may not understand why you refuse to give up. They may not understand why you choose kindness when bitterness seems easier. You do not need everyone to understand your faith. Keep walking. Gideon felt small compared with the enemy before him. Yet his story reminds us that God can accomplish much through a willing heart. You may not have many resources. You may not have many people supporting you. You may feel unnoticed. But some of the greatest acts of faith happen when nobody is watching. Ruth simply chose loyalty. She walked beside Naomi when she could have chosen an easier road. She worked quietly in the fields. She did not know that her ordinary faithfulness was becoming part of an extraordinary story. Not every miracle arrives with thunder. Sometimes faith is getting out of bed when your heart is tired. Sometimes faith is caring for someone who cannot repay you. Sometimes faith is choosing honesty when nobody would know if you lied. Sometimes faith is continuing to love after disappointment. Never underestimate small acts of goodness. God can build great stories from quiet faithfulness. Hannah teaches us about prayer. She brought her pain honestly before God. You do not need perfect words when you pray. God already knows what hurts. You can come to Him tired. You can come confused. You can come with tears. You can simply say, Lord, I do not understand, but I still trust you. Then we see David standing before Goliath. Everyone else saw a giant. David remembered the God who had helped him before. Fear magnifies the obstacle. Faith remembers the one who is greater than the obstacle. Your giant may not stand on a battlefield. Your giant may be uncertainty, rejection, loneliness, financial pressure, disappointment, or a broken dream. Whatever your giant is, do not allow it to convince you that your story is finished. David used what God had already placed in his hands. You do not need to become someone else to fulfill your purpose. Stop comparing your journey with someone else's journey. Someone may move faster than you. Someone may have more opportunities. Someone may appear more successful. That does not make your life less valuable. Walk your road faithfully. Later, David had the opportunity to hurt Saul, the man who had caused him great suffering. David chose mercy. Strength is not always shown by fighting back. Sometimes true strength is having the power to hurt someone and choosing peace instead. Elijah teaches us that even faithful people become tired. After moments of great courage, Elijah became exhausted and discouraged. You do not have to pretend to be strong every moment. Rest is not the opposite of faith. Sometimes your soul needs prayer, and sometimes your body simply needs rest. If you are exhausted, do not make permanent conclusions from temporary feelings. Rest, pray, breathe, then rise again. Jonah teaches us that failure does not have to become our identity. He ran away from what God asked him to do, yet God did not abandon him. Maybe you have made choices you regret. Maybe you wasted opportunities. Maybe you walked in the wrong direction. Your mistakes do not have to become your final chapter. God can still lead you toward a new beginning. Job teaches us faith when answers do not come. He experienced suffering he could not understand. Sometimes faith does not give us an explanation. Sometimes faith gives us the strength to keep walking without one. There may be questions you carry for years. You do not have to understand everything in order to continue trusting. trusting God. Daniel carried this kind of faith into Babylon. Even when prayer became dangerous, Daniel continued praying. Eventually, he found himself among lions. Daniel's faith did not prevent him from entering the lion's den. Faith does not promise that we will never enter difficult places. Faith reminds us that difficult places do not have the final word. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego entered the fire, but they were not alone. Sometimes God delivers us from the fire. Sometimes He walks with us through it. If you are walking through a difficult season, do not assume that God has abandoned you. The place that feels like destruction may become the place where you discover His presence more deeply. Esther teaches us courage. She could have remained silent. Instead, she stepped forward to help others. There comes a moment when faith must become action. Sometimes after praying, you must stand, you must speak, you must forgive, you must begin again. Courage does not mean having no fear. Courage means choosing what is right while fear is still present, and then we come to Jesus. In Jesus, we see faith expressed through love, compassion, humility, mercy, and sacrifice. Jesus welcomed people others rejected. He sat with the lonely. He comforted the brokenhearted. He forgave. He served. He showed us that faith is not only about what we believe. Faith changes how we treat people. The closer we come to God, the more humble we should become. Jesus washed the feet of His disciples. The greatest became a servant. Imagine how different our lives would become if we stopped asking, "Who will serve me?" and started asking, "Who can I help today?" Jesus also taught His followers not to live controlled by